So I done thought about this over and over and over again in my head, and I'm gonna just get out of my head, and I'm gonna just go ahead and drop it. And when I feel like I done given enough for the day, I'm gonna end this video. But I'm gonna talk for as long as I feel the need to talk today. And I'm gonna start off by telling the story of where the video that got everybody's attention, where that story started for me. The day my mom passed away. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I was visiting with her from out of town. And because I love my mom, I'm gonna say this. It was another added trauma to be there when she passed away, but I can also say I'm happy to have been the one that was there for her in her final moments. And I'll leave it there. So this is like 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm returning home from the hospital. That day goes by, we spend that day calling and letting everybody know what had happened and everything. Night falls. My dad is outside. And I'm standing outside talking to my dad. And as he getting in his car to leave, another car pulls up behind him. So the kid's father done caught news that my mom passed away or whatever, and this is the car that's pulling up behind us. So my dad is there, and I hear somebody calling my name. So I'm like, who is that? He stick his head out of the window, and I recognize who he is, and I tell my dad, I say, okay, then let me go over here and talk to him. Now, mind you, I ain't seen him in forever, but I'm spending every weekend, and I live 2 hours away from my sisters and brothers, so I see them every weekend. I'm helping provide for them. And I struggled with even saying that. But as anybody would want to do, yeah, I helped my mama. I did. But anyways, I'm going to get back to the story. I go to the car, and I'm talking to him through the car, but I'm also kind of like hesitant to talk to him there because I'm like waiting on him to get out the car. It's like, because remember, he got 3 kids inside the house. I can't say he did or he didn't ask about the kids. I don't remember. He could have. As far as their well-being, how are they, whatever. I don't remember him asking that. He could have. But he asked me first, what am I going to do with the kids? And I said to him, I said, well, I was going to ask you the same thing. He said, well, I want to take the kids back with me. And I said, man, I don't want you to do that. I don't want to be separated from my sisters and brothers. And it's like everything after that, I don't know what he said after then because I had zoned out. The next thing I know is he was like, all right, then, I'll talk to you about it later. So I'm waiting on later. My mom's funeral was 1 week away. The entire time that I was there, and I don't have a question about it, he never came by and checked on the kids the whole entire week. Now, I don't know if he had went back to his hometown or whatever, but he didn't come back and check on the kids. We went to the funeral. He was there at the funeral for sure. I don't know whether he went to the graveside or none of that, but none of that ain't important. The reason I went that long way around is because just like he had shown before, he wasn't there. He didn't sit with the kids at the funeral. No, none of that. So I'm waiting for after the funeral over with, is he gonna come by and check on the kids? He never came by to check on the kids, not even after the funeral was over with. He got 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. He never came by and checked, not at all. So we stayed there for another 2 weeks. And I haven't heard anything from this man. So I went to the courts. There's this good old bus driver that I had back in the days. Her name was Miss Tori. And anybody who know who I'm talking about know Miss Tori was a real one. Told you truth about everything. Well, her and my grandma was good old friends. And the two of them got me together and we went to the courthouse. Because I asked my grandma and Miss Tori, what do you do in this situation? They took me to the courthouse, and so happened when I go in there, there's somebody that's been a long time friend of the family. Real friend of the family. She worked in that courthouse. We told them what the situation was. The judge asked me to file abandonment charges because this man did not discuss with anybody what was going to happen with his kids or not. He just packed up his stuff and went back to the state that he lived in 5 hours away. And no further communication about what was going to happen with his kids. So it wasn't like I was screaming at him, telling me he can't take his kids. In the moment, I was literally pleading and begging to keep my sisters and brother. But he left and he went back to wherever he went. And I told the judge also, do I have to file the abandonment charges? Because that's just me. I always grew up never wanting to hurt nobody. No, none of that. So even though he ain't been there for my sisters and brothers now, I ain't really trying to hurt him in that way. Just let me do my thing and let me go my way. So the judge said, no, you don't have to file those papers. They say, but it would be in the best interest of the children. My grandma and Miss Tori did not fight me on it. I didn't want to sign those papers, so I didn't. But the judge told me to take the kids back to where I was ready to, because I stayed there to talk to a judge before I even removed my kids on the strength of their daddy saying he wanted his kids. Never in 1,000 years did I think, when I find his phone number and how to get in touch with him, that he had already left town. He wasn't. I just can't wrap my mind around that. But I didn't file no abandonment charges, but the judge did write up an order and say that I could take the kids back with me, get them established, put them in different sports and stuff. And if he touched them, he'll put him up under the jailhouse. So that's how I ended up with my sisters and brothers.